The fourth pillar of Wicked Smart Golf is all about becoming a wedge wizard, and it sounds like your wedge game is dialed. So before kind of getting into like how to finish the round, I want to talk a little bit just about what do you feel like? Because it feels like if you have a wedge, and Ryan actually kind of talked about it in our interview too, just saying how he's played with you and you've hit 18 greens countless times. So what are some like tips that you have for wedges? Because I feel like that is such a low hanging fruit. I think expectation management, like we talked about a little bit, probably will help everybody. But is it a setup? Is it the right wedges? Like, what do you feel like is helped you, or that you see even during those playing lessons that are hurting amateurs?
A couple things. Great question. I don't ever hit more than a 9 iron on the range, because if I can't hit my 9 iron and my wedges solid, what the heck makes me think I'm going to hit my 7 iron or my driver solid? But if I've got a tournament coming up, or even if I've got an hour to kill in the afternoon, I might go down to the range and I'm going to hit 10 balls from 90, 10 from 100, and I'm going to go in 10-yard increments up to 150 yards. And not only is that going to really teach you how far you hit it, but it's also going to groove a beautiful tempo because you're not trying to crush the wedges. But for me, I would say for the majority of the amateurs that I see, they're like, man, I blade my wedges, I hit my wedges fat. Sometimes they go this far. And then I look at their ball position and it's positioned where a driver is. I make the same golf swing on every single wedge. The only thing I do to hit it higher or hit it lower is move the ball position in my stance. And I would say that I I do not hit a wedge that is not at least in between the middle of my stance and the back of my stance. If you're playing a wedge in the middle of your stance, in my opinion, you are ready or hoping to get lucky. To be honest, I would say that 90% of my wedges are almost played off of I'm a right-hander, almost played off of my right big toe, because then I know I'm going to get the same contact. I'm going to get the same trajectory every single time. I don't really have the ball so far forward that I'm already going to start coming up and may blade one, or I kind of decel and chunk it. The ball's in the back where it's coming down. I'm going to hit that. And I don't I don't think I've ever swung full at a wedge, because I'm not trying to hit it high and far. I'm trying to hit a lower, more piercing, controlled ball flight where when it hits the green, I know how it's going to react. And the best part about having it way farther back in your stance is, yes, it would be awkward at first for somebody to move it from the front to the back, but I watch it daily and I do it daily with people, and they show me to 70 yards, they fat, thin, and then I move it back and they're like, well, I can't do this. And then it comes out of the middle of the face and they look at me like, what just happened? And I'm like, I know, man. But if you're swinging full at a wedge, like a full pitching wedge for me, I mean, maybe 135. And to be honest, with a wedge, if I can get a back pin every time, I'm licking my chops, because I want to land that ball in the middle of the green and skip it back there. I'm not trying to fly it 10 feet past the hole and spin it back. I want to keep everything in front of me. And by flighting it and not swinging for the fences, I can now control it. And yeah, I might slightly pull one or push one, but it's 10 or 15 feet left or right of the pin. It's not off the green when you had a scoring opportunity. But if you look at a driving range, whether it's public or private or whatever it is, you don't ever see anybody hitting wedges, man. They're smoking 7 irons, then going to the hybrid, hitting the driver, and having a cocktail. Like that really, yeah, if you're loosening your body and warming up. But if I'm going out there and swinging 7 irons and drivers and swinging lights out, boy, things are not going to go good when I go to the golf course, because everything starts to subconsciously move faster, because now there's consequences for your bad shots. So if you're on the range swinging those clubs full bore and then you go to the first tee, you might as well enter a long drive contest, because that's how hard you're going to be going. But the wedges is where you score, or if you're struggling off the tee that day and you got to punch out a few times, you pick your favorite number and then you know you've got an opportunity. Yeah, you might make a bogey, but you sure as heck aren't going to make a double. And it's not glamorous, I know. And, everybody just, and that's what I talked about. Everybody wants to hit it far and long, and they see these guys on TV, but they also don't see the 8 hours a day that they're working to put the timing in to be able to do that. For the average guy, go hit your wedges, and then all of a sudden, when you grab your 7 iron, you hit your 7 iron better than you've ever hit it. Yeah, your swing is there. Your swing is fine. You just swing too dang hard.
Yeah, I like that too. And if you're hitting more wedges, when you do get in trouble and you got to punch out, you can get up and down more often. So it helps your tempo, it helps your short game. It's a win-win.